I don't know. It's just, and now that I've started doing it, the biggest thing that, keeps me going, so to speak, is when I see the difference we make with our heroes on these weekend hunts.
Starting, sustaining, and having a successful small business is hard, but you already knew that. But wouldn't it be great to have a podcast that talks to and digs in to the people who've made it? Problem solved. This is Local Vibes, small business success stories. Talking to successful small businesses from around America, you'll hear awesome stories about how they got started and how they survived and thrived online and in their communities. We find out their special vibe. Welcome to Local Vibes. Brought to you by UltimateOnlineMarketing.com. Now, here are your hosts, Pat and Angie Cherubini.
All right, let's do this.
Hi, everybody. It's Pat and Angie Cherubini from Local Vibes, where we talk to local business owners or organization owners about their business or the organization that they're with and how they have a great local vibe and how they have, how they have grown and actually how they started. That's the big thing.
The struggles and just tell
thing.
the story of what's going on. So
Sorry,
we'll just start off
tongue-tied.
by asking you, your origin story, who you are, the name of your company that's right there on your chest.
Do you guys call it a company, American Hero Hunt?
More so an organization usually.
Yep.
But
just let us know how it started and where you're at.
So my name is Justin Jones. I am the founder and president of American Hero Hunt. 2016-ish, I had an idea I've always been big into hunting. So I kind of had an idea to, give back to some veterans. And, along with the other couple buddies, we put it together. We took two heroes out, two veterans at that point. It was just veterans only. Just nonchalant way to give back to them. One did whitetail and then one did waterfowl. We did that for 2 years. And then we decided, we're not going to be able to do this out of our own pocket for very long. So we decided to, apply for our nonprofit organization, our 501c, and everything went through. That happened in early 2019 is when we became a full 501, but we've just blown up since then. There's always more goals and more stuff I want to do every day, and my ambitions are high, but we kind of, take it slow and build it. So it's always me being a veteran myself, I've always had that calling to give back, and it's just something that I try to do, and in anything that we do as an organization is just give back to local heroes. It is now first responders and veterans,
Nice.
so we do all of it. So we've been busy.
Well, number one, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we hooked up. You're local to us, but I don't, today's the first day I'm looking at you. I don't know you at all.
Right. Yeah.
Angie did do your website, but we really don't know you. But the reason we know you is because, we try to give back a little bit too and helping out. When we heard your cause, how could we not? That's an awesome thing you guys are doing. So what was there something, what was the inspiration behind it? I know you're a vet and, you want to give back. Was there something that happened, that really caused you to want to jump in here and do this and take these guys out? Was there a need that you saw, or, what was the inspiration and motivation?
Really it was, kind of my calling to give back, at the time that I was doing this, I was kind of, looking into, I've been through a couple police department, application periods and stuff like that to become a police officer. I didn't quite make it. So I kind of, I ended up taking a job with another city as my full-time job instead of doing the police officer thing. And I just, I felt this was a way that I could, instead of serving my local community as a first responder, I could do this, and it would be, something that I could continue to do. And it's getting to the point now where, I've got two young boys, and they'll be able to go out with me and help me and do that. And I don't know. It's just, and now that I've started doing it, the biggest thing that keeps me going, so to speak, is when I see the difference we make with our heroes on these weekend hunts. But yeah, ultimately, it was just, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know there are a few other organizations like us around Ohio, and especially nationally. Now that I'm, kind of in the game, I've seen them, but I think ours is better. But ultimately, we're not gonna compete with these types of organizations because we're all in it for the same game. So
Yeah,
at,
absolutely.
at the end of the day, it's giving back to those who sacrifice and ultimately give their time for our local community and our country. So.
Exactly. Why don't you explain to everybody exactly, when you have somebody come out to American Hero Hunt to a hunt, what's the process, or how does someone sign up for that?
Where do you find your guys?
So your guys' awesome website that you designed for us.
Thank you.
Obvious. So we set it up on there. Basically, you go to AmericanHeroHunt.org and click the Apply to Hunt button. We'll have a list of all the events that we have coming up. I try to get those. We try to get those on the website early in the year, but we will have some localized ones that come up that are just kind of last minute. But mostly, you go on there, fill out an application, or nominate somebody. We try to push people to nominate.
That's nice.
Try to just go on there, fill out as much information about them as you can. Tell us you're nominating them. And we've had it happen a few times. People didn't even know they were put in for it, and we called them and said, "Hey, are you able to come?" And ultimately, they were able to come, and it's awesome when that happens because they have no idea it's coming. But yeah, you
And
go.
what's their reaction?
A lot of times, no one answers. No one answers the first call, so we got to send texts or try to get a hold of them on Facebook and stuff like that. We try to do it live in one of our board meetings every month. We have one, so we try to when we pick them, we try to do it live in our meeting. We'll call them on the spot on speaker.
Oh,
Um,
that's neat.
yeah, so a lot of them are really surprised, and some of them even kind of get. I wouldn't say mad, but they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna," because their wife put them in or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Well, it's
ultimately,
not like a
they're
hero to
excited.
step up and ask for help. So, that's
Right,
something
exactly.
you
And
need to nominate them.
yeah, and that's a lot of that is our biggest hurdle is getting humble people like, veterans and, first responders to put in for themselves. That is the biggest thing. So we try to tell people, get on there and nominate somebody. Last year we reached 28 heroes in all that we did. And
Nice.
this year we're hoping to push 36 this year. So we need
Wow.
applicants.
Mostly local, or they come from all over?
So we have a few local trips. Like we have two turkey hunts coming up the end of this month. We've already selected our hunters for that. That was open nationwide because you can hunt in almost any weather for turkey. But when we do a walleye trip up to Lake Erie, we'll make that a localized. We try to make it like the Tri-County area, just so because the weather is the weather you can't you can't go out on Lake Erie if it's 20-mile-an-hour winds. So.
No.
So
Wouldn't
we
be
try to
fun.
stipulate those, but our big hunts, as far as the like our whitetail, turkey, all the shotgun whitetail stuff that we do, we open those nationwide. We've had people come from Wisconsin, Georgia, Tennessee. What was the other one? We had one come from Eastern Pennsylvania back in January for muzzleloader season. So yeah, all over the
Nice.
place.
So cool.
I see you guys. You guys just did a Muskingum University archery. You did something in Muskingum County.
Yeah, so Muskingum University started an archery program, and they hosted an ASA qualifier, which is you go. It's a 3D shoot, and they hosted it on their property, and people came from all over the state to shoot. Now the weather was kind of really bad on Saturday. It was snowing and wind and freezing cold.
Oh,
So
It
not,
was.
not too many came out on Saturday, but Sunday they had over, I want to say 120 shooters come out on Sunday.
wow.
to shoot a 30 station 3D course. And, as far as our role in it was kind of just to be there and, help out a little bit. We set up our booth and just raise awareness of who we are and
Mm-hmm.
what we do, and, sell some apparel and hats and stuff like that. So,
You guys get a lot of people interested in things like that in what you do?
yeah, I mean, people, it's kind of I guess it's society. I mean, you gotta make the first interaction. A lot of people just walk by and kind of look and kind of see what you are without actually saying anything. So we kind of, we try to interact with them. Obviously, that's what you got to do. But we've had a lot of big success setting up. A lot of times we'll set up advances when we have some events going on, and they've been they've been successful for us for sure.
How has it went so far? Has it been pretty easy to get the word out, get set up, and get these guys to know what you guys do, or have you had a struggle?
Facebook, Facebook with any business, if you don't pay to play, you're kind of pushed to the back. So I think that's been our biggest hurdle. Back in the very beginning, before we were even really our 501c, I had it set up. I actually, personally boosted some of the initial hunt stuff and paid for boosting and stuff like that, just to try to get it out there because, if you don't pay, people don't see it.
Right.
So I think that's our biggest hurdle is, a lot of what we do is social media and push them, kind of push them to the website to apply, obviously, or nominate. So really, Facebook is where we're at with that. And it does, you rely on friends and family to share it. And if they don't, then, their friends don't see it. And even if they do, some of our board members will share stuff and then, or I'll share it and they say they never even see it,
Yep.
and they're close friends of mine. I interact with them all the time and they still don't see it. So
Angie doesn't even see my stuff.
I knew you were going to talk about that. I knew he was going to say it.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's tough if.
Or maybe I see it and I just don't comment.
Oh, that's probably the
there
case.
you go.
But we joke all the time. We talk about that. Just the way Facebook used to work, you'd make a post and your friends saw it. Even on your
Right.
personal stuff.
Oh yeah.
When you first had a fan page, you made a post and all of your fans saw it. Now, I can challenge anybody to go through even your personal page or your personal profile and go through your friends list, and there will be dozens and dozens that you haven't seen in a year. But
Oh
you're
yeah,
still,
for sure.
they're still posting, you're still posting. It's just they don't show it. If you stop interacting with them, they stop
Yeah.
showing it, and the pages work the same.
The
And
lovely algorithms.
Advertising is the only way around it, and with
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
that's why we try to teach people to do different things. Make sure that you don't get stuck with that being your only thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been tough. But ultimately we are 100% public driven as far as funding. And, we haven't quite hit the point where we want to start paying for advertisement and stuff like that. Now, I think we could, but we're still having small successes as far as getting people to apply. And really, to be honest with you, Facebook, the donation aspect of Facebook has been tremendous for us. Almost every post I make on Facebook, I try to make it a donate now post to where people can
Nice.
donate right straight from that post. And it's been huge. It's kind of, all the way through all the COVID stuff, we weren't able to have a banquet. We weren't able to do certain things. And that is what kept us afloat and really has paid for almost all the hunts we've done in the last year and a half. Is just the
Really?
steady stream of birthday fundraisers are huge. I try to tell all my guys on the board and stuff to, create a birthday fundraiser. You'll be surprised at what comes through just by doing that. And it's kind of funny with Facebook.
Great idea.
I'll see people out. I mean, states and states and states away. I don't even know who these people are. And they created a birthday fundraiser for American Hero Hunt. It makes
Really?
80. Yeah, it makes 80, 100, $80, $100. Some of them have made $200, $300. And I don't know these people. So
That's fantastic. Do you ever reach out to them and talk to them?
yeah, I always, when I do see those, it's hard to find. You gotta, especially with the Facebook page, you gotta find the right spot to go find all the fundraisers for American Hero Hunt. And I'll just every once in a while I'll get on there and look, and if somebody does post or, make one, I try to go straight to that and comment as American Hero Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
thanking them for, they don't know us from anybody, and they're, raising donations for us. So that's pretty awesome.
That's the first time I've heard anybody doing that. That's because
Yeah.
you are a 501, right?
Yeah, because we are a 501. So, and I hope it stays that way. Facebook has always, it's always been, there's no fees involved at all. Dollar for dollar, every donation that is given. Facebook, obviously, you got to be legitimate and you got to, link your bank account and everything else. But Facebook sends it straight to the bank account every 2 months. And it's just, it works. And I'm very surprised the way it works, really.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you're the first one I've heard that from, so that's cool. And
Yeah,
we'll
that's
remember that and
great information.
Yeah.
for you.
Well, tell us about some of your most memorable moments that you've had.
Some people have asked me that, and I think my number one would be, it would have been muzzleloader of 2021. So actually, not this past January, but the January before. We had a gentleman come from Georgia, Mr. Brad Watts, and then we had Mr. Eric Reed from down around Chillicothe. Came in for muzzleloader. I had never met them in person. Brad, I had my brother-in-law actually put him in for the hunt. So there was a little bit of a connection there, but I didn't know him. My brother-in-law had just served with him. But Eric, it was kind of, we never know we try to look at their Facebook. We try to know kind of who's coming, or, kind of get a mentality of who they are, or, who we're going to hang out with for 4 days. Muzzleloader is actually 5 days that we hang out. So, they both showed up in camp, and they were like very reserved people, very quiet. And it was kind of crazy how they were both the same type of people. And they're both combat vets. And it just turned, sitting around, we'll have a camp. It was freezing cold. We didn't really have a campfire, but we camped out in a wall tent, a big, a 16 by 20 tent. We had a wood burner and everything inside. So there's downtime when we're not hunting. We hang around, and, we actually had a generator and extension cords, and we watched the national championship football game and everything else. But
Cool.
yeah, out in the middle of nowhere when we're watching TV. But
Better way to do it.
yeah. So the thing that they were both really quiet all weekend, up until the last day. Eric Reed from Chillicothe, he ended up, that got really dark. Sorry. He ended up getting he shot a really nice buck. We hunted with Brushy Fork Outfitters. He shot a really nice buck, got it all on film. We tried to film everything. And that was kind of, the icebreaker, I think. He kind of opened up, and they both opened up. And just for me to sit around and, because I'm involved the whole weekend, I'm busy doing this, setting this up, doing this. And to see them go from very quiet, reserved, not really opening up very much, to what they did on the last day, where they started talking about their war stories, talking about the things, and relating with each other, and their time in service. And to me, that's what it's all about. That's why we do it, is for them to be able to open up and be the people that they're able to be, and they need it. We don't want to say it's therapy, because we're not in that business. But ultimately, right, at the end of the day, a weekend like that for these two guys was definitely therapeutic.
Do you do a lot of the veterans? Does it take time before they start opening up with you guys on the hunts?
It does. Some of these two guys were, I think, out of all that we've done over the last 4 or 5 years, these two guys probably, I don't know if because they were both the same, or, but they probably took the longest. But usually after the first evening, getting settled in camp, or, wherever we're staying, and then the next day, we get out and we sit in the blind together, or we go out and sit and hunt together, and whatever we do, they start to open up. But again, I think that's just the mentality of, the humbleness, and the mentality of the way veterans and, a lot of first responders are, is they don't feel they're anybody and anybody else more than anybody else. They don't feel like they need to be there. They don't deserve it any more than anybody else. They just, they did their job and they do their job, and so
It's
it's
amazing that
awesome.
you think that way because you guys deserve it all the time, not just once.
Yeah, that's really cool. So how's your capacity right now? Can you do more? Are you guys looking for more? Are you kind of you're riding a wave where you sound like you're pretty full, but where does it go from here?
Actually, we just had a board meeting the other night, and when we selected our turkey hunters, at the end of the meeting, I started talking like I feel like we can do more, but I think we're at that hump in the wave where the time commitment from the board members, time commitment from volunteers and stuff like that that's the biggest. That's one of the biggest things. I work a full-time job. We all work full-time jobs. We have families, and to try to do 30 plus hunts
That's a
reach
lot.
30 plus heroes throughout all of our different hunts and events, is a lot, really. But I think we're at the point where we can start. We're trying to put a pro staff. Everybody in the hunting industry wants to be on a pro staff. And what we have found is there's a lot of people out there who want to help, but they don't really want to commit themselves to a board member position and devote as much time as needed. So what we're working on is trying to develop a pro staff program to get those types of people, a part of the organization. We'll back them 100%. Say they have property somewhere and they want to host a hero to take on a hunt. We will, they know what we, as an organization are about, and they're able to do that. And then as the time comes, we can, we could promote them, quote unquote, promote them up to a board member position if they want to do that. But I think in the near future, we're going to start, either we're going to travel out west and do some hunting, or we're going to send some, link up with some outfitters out west and send some guys out there for doing hunts out there. So
I think that's a great idea.
How many guys you got? What's your your team size? How many board members involved?
so we have our board is 15. And right now we currently have 15 members. On any given, event or hunt or meeting, I think we get about 60 to 70% participation. And I get it. Everybody's busy. We all have families. We all have everything going on. So we do pretty well with that. But day in and day out, just what goes on at a meeting every month for 2.5 hours, ultimately isn't gonna propel us to where I think we can go as an organization. And a lot of the guys are all behind us as far as that goes. So we're growing pains is what I like to call them. Along with staying busy. And, we've got a couple of fundraiser events this year that are going to keep us really busy on top of everything we're doing. So.
Nice.
What do you do? What are your fun? You said you had the Facebook thing and you do some fundraisers. What do you do to get the word out about getting, because it's all donations, right? It's 100, you're probably almost all donations. How do you get the word out to those people?
We are. We're 100% donation driven. So ultimately, back in March, I think it was March 7th of 2020, 2 days before the country shut down, we had a wild game dinner banquet. It's the first banquet. We planned it in 2.5 months, which is kind of crazy now to think about. But we hosted a banquet with a bunch of different wild game meal. We actually raffled off 24 guns that night. And as an organization, that was the first fundraiser we had done officially, and we raised over $20,000 that night for the organization.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. We were all blown away at how well it went. Obviously, with the whole, the COVID, we weren't able to have a banquet in 2021. So what we decided to do was a golf outing at the Trout Club in August. It turned out to be an awesome fundraiser for us. And then, so this year, we wanted to do a spring dinner banquet, but it didn't. We're still doing it in spring and just a little bit later than what we really wanted to. We're not having it until June. So June 4th, we're having a dinner banquet. And we're going to run it pretty much the same as we did with the last one. And I think it's going to be a huge success again. I've already got people, blowing up the emails and phones of wanting to have sponsor tables. And unfortunately, we have to cap it at 200 occupants because of the venue. But
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be an awesome fundraiser. And we're doing the golf outing in August again out at the Trout Club. So.
Nice.
Is that information, if somebody wants to participate in that, is out on your website, Facebook page, both?
So as far as the sprint or the banquet, the dinner banquet, we put the save the date flyer out with the dates, and I'm hoping by the end of this week I'll have the final flyer done with the sponsors, and then we will have ticket pricing and sponsor tables and everything else will be out this week, and that'll be on Facebook. And then I'm hoping by the end of this week as well, I can get the flyer designed for the save the date of the golf outing in August. So.
Now, do you build a list, Justin? Do you have a list of, past
Email list.
people, an email list or a text list?
I do. So we used an online ticketing venue for the Wild Game Dinner in 2020, and it ate a lot of money in fees and transfer fees through PayPal and stuff like that. So this year, so I do have all the email of everybody who applied, who bought purchased a ticket on that. But this year, we're planning to sell tickets in person. Basically, we're gonna have our 10 sponsor tables, and then the rest of them will be individual dinner tickets that we'll sell. And we've got between the 10 or 15 of us on the board. We've got so many people who are wanting tickets already. It's just I think it's going to sell out quicker than we can really get the word out there. So,
which venue are you using?
We're going to Harvest Adventures down in Bremen. It's kind of a farm. It used to be a dairy farm, and they somebody had come to them a long time ago about having a wedding on their dairy farm. And so then that kind of gave them the idea to turn it into a wedding venue and a banquet hall and stuff like that. So
Nice.
Make more money throwing parties and milking cows.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So somebody that has the same calling as you, wants to give back, wants to start something. Do you have any advice what it takes to start a 501 and put something together like you've done?
Just do it. That's kind of cliche. You'll never be ready. I researched. I did all the 501 application. I didn't pay a lawyer. I didn't pay a firm. I did it all myself.
Wow.
I went online. I checked out the IRS website, and you had to fill out the forms. And luckily now you can do a lot of it electronically. But my biggest thing was, I was hesitant. Like, what if I do this wrong? What if I do this wrong? Now there are firms out there you can pay. They'll do it for you. But just do your research and do it. If you want to start a 501, it's not as hard as a lot of people make it seem. Obviously the day in and day out things that you need to do after that. But my biggest thing would just go for it. Don't hold back. You'll never be ready. It's like having a kid or, stuff like that. You're like, oh, you want to plan, you want to have this ready, this ready, this ready. I mean, you'll never be fully ready. Things are going to change day to day. You're going to have things that, as with any business, you're going to have hurdles. You're going to have things that you have to work through. But my biggest thing would be just to do it and then work out the kinks after that.
Just jump and figure it out on the way down.
Right. Yep.
That's cool.
Got anything else?
Do we go to the?
Wow. Is there anything that we didn't ask? We always think we go through all our notes, and is there something that we missed about what you do, or did we nail it?
Or a story or anything?
I don't think so. Really, it's kind of crazy. My wife just told me a little while ago, you get famous, don't forget about me, because I've done a couple podcasts now. But no, I mean it.
You may have a ways to go after this one.
Right. No, I just sincerely, I thank you guys, Angie, for, doing the website and not charging us a dime. I mean, the website is amazing. It's so user friendly. everything you guys do and have done, you know, and just all the local, the local community, the sponsors, everybody that has, gotten behind us and helped us do what we do. I wouldn't be able to do it, especially without my board members. It's just, it keeps me busy. Now I'm hoping for the day I can retire and do this more full time,
Oh,
but
that'd
I
be
don't,
fun.
it would be. Hopefully that day comes. That's my end goal, I think. But um, really, and I guess one thing that I forgot to say is when we take, and then this is one thing that I pride, our organization on. I don't know what other organizations do, but when we take a hero out on a hunt, we outfit them from head to toe.
Oh,
We get with Vance's, we get with High Point Taxidermy, we get with Habit Outdoors, different sponsors that we have, and we get gear. We outfit them head to toe and give them everything they need for the weekend to do what we're doing, but then they can take it all home with them and
Nice.
continue. So if they've never hunted turkey before, they now have everything they need to continue that after they've been with us for a weekend. So,
do you have a lot of people that come into it that have never hunted before?
um, yes and no. So we've had two or three that have, they've never done the type of hunting that we took them on. And then we've had ones that, they're a little bit older. They used to hunt when they were in high school, or, they went out with their dad and grandpa when they were younger, but they just, they haven't done it for 20 to 30 years. And then now, all of a sudden they get to go back to doing what we do. And, we've had some come into camp that didn't really have much of hunting gear, and they're just blown away by, what we give them. And almost all of them are just, like, I don't need this stuff. Like, I don't deserve this
Oh,
stuff. We give them a whole table full of gear, and they're, we don't need this. I don't need this. I don't, and it's just,
what a cool feeling.
it is. It's very humbling to me to, to be able to do that as an organization, and that's one thing I never want to get away from, is
Hmm.
doing that, because I think that makes a world of difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't know how to help. We're going to obviously put this out. We're going to try to drive people to your donation links, and I think that's, in the world that we hear all the negativity and everything, I think there are a ton of people that are going to want to help you out.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
we're just trying to do
Yeah.
a little bit. It was our pleasure doing your website. It's
Yes.
obviously it's a no brainer for us. It's the least we could do, but we're going to try to get some hits on that link and see what we can do to spread the word a little bit and get people to know what you do,
Some
because
local
it's freaking
vibes.
awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
it is so cool that you guys do that. And I can just picture those guys, the type of guys that are trying to not take any of your stuff and they don't deserve. I can just picture them, but
Mhm.
it's cool.
Yeah, like I said, I really appreciate it. Ultimately, they can go to the website. Obviously, it's AmericanHeroHunt.org. There is a contact form on there. They can contact us. That comes straight to me anytime, day or night. Please, if you have anybody that you want to nominate them. Just go on there and tell a little bit about them, and why you think they deserve this. And obviously, they're already a hero to us, but try to make them stand out more than the other guy. I guess that's one of the other big things that we have. We ask people, veterans and first responders, to explain themselves or tell us a little bit about you, and being humble. They don't talk too much. They don't want to boast themselves too much or anything like that. But give us your service history, what you do for hobbies now, and just try to relate with us a little bit, because ultimately that's the way we select. Is if we have 25 applicants to one hunt, um, every board member brings their top five out of those 25 to a meeting, and then we sift them down from there. And obviously we look at everybody's social media, and we try to relate, and ultimately we boil it down to one or two depending what we're doing, and then we have the backups. So
That would be
please
so
nominate.
hard.
Oh, it is. It's very hard. It is so hard. I mean, we've had some whitetail hunts in the past where we've had over 50 applicants,
Oh, jeez.
How do you narrow that down from 50 to one? That
Holy
is,
crap.
it's very hard. It's very hard to do. So,
Yeah. So for the people that just heard all that and are sitting there thinking, obviously the heroes aren't thinking it, but their friends and family are thinking, hey, this person needs to go. You know, what are your requirements to apply? Veteran, first responder, that's pretty much it.
yeah, any veteran, active duty, first responders. So that's, obviously firefighter, medics, police officers, retired, still active, doesn't matter. Um, we don't, we've taken some disabled guys on. We can always find ways to accommodate disabled vets, whether they're
Good to
wheelchair
know.
bound.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's another huge project we have coming up. We actually had a disabled American veteran, the DAV chapter up by Cleveland. They donated a single axle 14-foot trailer to us that we are going to build a blind on. So it is 100% mobile. We can put it anywhere and it'll be all wheelchair accessible. We can just run the wheelchair right up in the back of it. And so, yeah, we don't, we will find a way to accommodate anybody.
Mhm.
We ask, so on the application, we ask for, DD 214 or a picture of a military ID or, police ID, anything like that.
Mhm.
You don't have to have that on the form, but we will require that if you don't put it on there, just so we can make sure everything's 100% legit.
Mhm.
But really, the biggest thing is name, phone number that we can contact. If you don't want them to know about it, don't put their email address in the form. Put your email address because you will get a confirmation email once you hit submit.
Mhm.
Um, but ultimately, it's we just need people to nominate somebody, and it'll be that's the biggest thing. Nominations. I love making that phone call, and they had no idea that they were even put in for it.
That would be fun. That would be fun. And you said you record it? Do you record that
We don't record. We don't record, but we call live, right? We call
from the
live
board
like
meeting?
during our meeting. We put it on speakerphone. If there's 10, 15 of us in the meeting, we talk to them right then and there and make sure they're able to come and congratulate them and all that stuff. So, but we do as far as recording when we take guys out. We try to record the whole weekend. We have a
Mhm.
couple guys that do film editing for us. And, we're always looking for more of those too, film editors or young people that want to walk around and film and hang out for us for the weekend. If you're inspiring to be a outdoor videographer, we'd love to have you
Mhm.
come and do some film. But ultimately, we try to film, edit it, and put it all together so that way they have something to look back on 10, 15 years from now.
Oh, that's neat. That's
Yeah.
really neat. Well, are we ready for the question box?
Go for it.
I've got this little box of questions. They're just random questions, so we don't have any clue what you'll get.
Okay.
So let's see. What three adjectives would your family use to describe you?
Oh man.
Or
Busy.
maybe not
Busy.
just your family, maybe the other guys in the organization. How would they describe you over in American Hero Hunt?
Definitely, I'd say busy. Um, the other one would be selfless. With there's a lot of times I don't hunt throughout the year at all. I love to hunt, but I just don't have time
Yeah.
because of what we're doing. Um, I don't know. I guess humble.
Yeah.
You know, that's I don't know. It's just as far as the whole organization goes. I don't you know I don't see myself as doing anything extraordinary. I'm just doing what I need to do to give back to our American heroes.
Well, you're doing
That's
that. You're doing
fantastic.
that in spades. Thank you so much for spending the time and talking to us. And, thank you for your service. Thank you for what you're doing for those heroes. I mean, it's cool all the way around what you're doing. And we're going to do whatever we can to get the word out some more.
Can't wait to see it grow.
I appreciate it very much. I'm excited for the future. Obviously, there's growing pains along the way, but I'm very excited for the future of where American Hero Hunt goes and where we end up, even just 2 to 5 years from now. So,
Well,
Awesome.
we're always a call, text, or email away. So just reach out, whatever you need. You got any questions, let us know, and we'll do whatever we can to help you guys out.
Yep.
I'll be getting a hold of you about that email chain. So,
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right,
So,
thank you, guys.
this is, as we wrap it up, this is usually more business, but we know what you do and what you did and who you help. So, the local vibes part of it isn't really about local business. It's about, it's the fabric of America is the way I look at
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the biggest part of the local vibes. So thank you again for everything you've done.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it very much.
All right. That's
it
a
up.
wrap.
Have a
Thanks,
good night,
Justin.
man.
Hey, you too. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Local Vibes Podcast. Brought to you by Ultimate Online Marketing, where we help small business owners like you build the ultimate system that generates more leads, phone calls, and most importantly, more customers. Join our group by going to ultimateonlinemarketing.com/group. There, you'll find live discussions, tips, podcasts, videos, and just plain real talk on how you too can be an ultimate online business. See you next time.
Bye-bye.